All right then, buckle up everyone, because today we're going to be talking about Neon Fear. Neon Fear is a Friday the 13th fan film that managed to scrape together $56,000 in a budget via crowdfunding. Now, I gotta give the filmmakers credit for one thing: they actually finished the movie, and I'm impressed that they didn't bail halfway through and start a GoFundMe for a better script. But hey, it's not easy making a movie, so let's see how hard they tried to do it. Spoiler, well, it's a disaster. Now, let's start with the trailer, and I'll be honest, I watched it and it kinda had me hyped. You've got neon lights, futuristic vibes, and the promise of Blade Runner-esque cinematography. I was like, okay, maybe this could be good. And then I watched the actual movie, and my god, if the trailer was a promising appetizer, the movie's a moldy sandwich left out in the sun for a week. The visuals, it's kind of like someone was trying to make a cyberpunk film, but instead they ended up with a budget bin Blade Runner.
Magnavolt, the final word in auto security. No embarrassing alarm noise. No need to trouble the police.
And it won't even run down your battery.
The neon lights aren't captivating at all. They look like they were slapped together in Photoshop. It's kind of embarrassing. They basically took a fog machine, sprinkled in some random colored lights, and hoped it would make the film look high-tech. Again, with the spoilers, it doesn't.
Share some electrifying news about the hit show F-13. The creators are pulling out all the stops with thrilling upgrades that promise to keep viewers on the
It's all the same shit. Fucking puppets.
And speaking of the Blade Runner comparison, let's talk about the cinematography. The filmmakers claim that they were going for a Blade Runner vibe. Look, I get it. Everyone wants to be Blade Runner, but this isn't just failing to be Blade Runner. This is like walking into a Taco Bell, expecting a 5-star meal, and getting a stale burrito instead. The shots are shaky, the lighting's all over the place, and everything's got that weird, washed out look. To be honest, the entire film feels like it's a bad student project that got lost in the editing room. They didn't just miss the mark, they shot the arrow into a random field, and the closest thing to the mark was the trash can behind the building. Now let's talk about the writing. Oh my god, if you ever wanted to see a plot that feels like it was written by someone who watched Friday the 13th while blindfolded, Neon Fear is definitely your movie.
His name was Jason.
The plot has everything: time travel, robots, and some random guy trying to be a slasher villain.
You can't just leave nitrogen out. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
And zero reason for anything happening. The writing is so bad, in fact, it kind of feels like they handed a 6-year-old a pencil and said, hey, go ahead and make something terrifying. The dialogue is stilted, awkward, and half the time I'm not even sure if anybody there knows what they're saying. You know what would literally made the script better? Anything else. No, seriously, write it on a napkin, throw it up in the air, and I'm sure the result would have been way more coherent than this mess. And let's talk about the special effects. Okay, the $56,000 budget was apparently spent on one fog machine, some questionable blood, and about 5 minutes of special effects that kind of look like they came straight from the early 2000s.
I'm very disappointed in you.
You get a slasher villain who looks like they just crawled out of a 90s video game cutscene with absolutely no impact. The blood, I don't even know if that's blood or if someone poured red Kool-Aid on the set. There's no weight to the kills, no tension, just a whole lot of bad CGI, and I'm pretty sure the robotic villain looks like a malfunctioning toaster that's been dragged through a junkyard. Now, let's talk about the sound for a second. The music is so bad, it's kind of like someone searched for sci-fi synthwave royalty-free music and just hit download. It's repetitive, obnoxious, and kind of feels like it's trying to force some emotional weight onto scenes that absolutely have no business having music in the first place. The sound effects? Don't get me started. The footsteps. They sound like someone's walking on a wet carpet. And the punches, pa pa pa, I can't tell if they're hitting flesh or a pillow stuffed with marshmallows. Now look, Neon Fear isn't just a bad movie. It's a literal train wreck. They had $56,000, and the only thing it looks like they spent it all on were fog machines, neon lights, while neglecting literally every other aspect of filmmaking.
Okay, tough guy.
Guys.
The acting is wooden, the writing's an incoherent mess, and the Blade Runner inspiration is a joke. If you want a good slasher, watch Friday the 13th. Hell, you know what? How about this? Go watch Jason Goes to Space for a better sci-fi slasher.
Hey, Slappy! Got a little something for you.
Oh, wow.
Gave her an upload.
Afraid I'm gonna have to hurt you now.
This is a disaster of epic proportions. If you want to see a movie that's trying so hard to be cool and fails miserably, this is your movie. But if you like good movies, yeah, keep moving. I know it's a fan film, but you also know that Friday the 13th has a very dedicated fan base and community. It's one of the most celebrated horror series of all time. If you honestly didn't think you would get at least one critical review, then filmmaking might not be for you. And if you are really making a sequel, here's the fix. Drop the time travel and focus on simple, coherent plot. Hire a real director of photography. Forget Blade Runner and just make it look at least halfway decent. Special effects need a complete overhaul, like no more cheap CGI or fake blood. Get some better sound and music. Hire better actors. Oh, and ditch the AI-generated art that seems to be in the trailer. Make something real and stop cutting corners. That's what I believe Neon Fear 2 needs. Hopefully the sequel is better. So there you have it, Neon Fear. The film that thought it could be Blade Runner but ended up being a bargain bin horror mess. Hit that like button if you enjoyed these brutally honest reviews. Leave a comment if you think I missed something hilarious, and don't forget to subscribe for more of this savage content. Catch you next time on Raven Roast. And yeah, I'm a little bit upset that I had to sit through that crap. Man, I am never watching that again. That is absolute just crap. If that's acting, then man, I deserve an Oscar. Jesus Christ.